Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Looks like a pretty picture there right now, but did you know a cold front arrived in Colorado today? We had a pretty decent day out there, but we're tracking the chances for storms to the south tonight.
Speaking of that, take a look at some of the video from meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen. This is the scene about 10 miles south of Peyton, down near Colorado Springs. And you can see the hail piling up there. So things are rocky in some parts of it. Lauren, let's talk about this front that is changing our weather as we speak.
That's right. The most we're really going to get from it across the northern half of the Front Range and Eastern Plains will be these cooler temperatures that we're seeing today. We are going to expect some very strong to even severe storms to the south. Now, let's move straight over to our HD Doppler radar where that front has already pushed in, and that's what's given us the cloudy skies and highs dropping into the 60s. But let's kind of separate this into two parts. North of the I-70 corridor, we're just seeing these scattered, brief, isolated showers and storms. None of these are expected to become severe, maybe a quick downpour overhead, a couple strikes of lightning and thunder. Now, as we move to the south, this is where we are going to expect the strongest storms. We're already starting to see some of them push through areas like Colorado Springs, and then across the southern border, the southeastern corner of Colorado here. This is where we're going to expect the strongest weather. This is also where we have a marginal risk for severe weather. You'll notice this is south of I-70 and east of I-25 across the southeastern corner of the state. These areas are going to expect the strongest storms, and by strong, I mean heavy downpours, lots of lightning and thunder, but we're also going to watch for large hail, 1 to 2 inches in diameter, and very gusty to damaging winds, gusting around 60 to 80 miles per hour. So it's in this green area where we do have 9 News meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen out there, and he's getting some live looks for us. What do you have out there, Corey?
Hey, Lauren. Yeah, the thunderstorm that we ended up following out of our area today was very close to becoming a severe thunderstorm, really close to that threshold. But take a look at the scene here. This is Peyton, which is just south, the south end of the Palmer Divide. The road and the grass just covered with hail here. At one point we had about 2 to 3 inches of hail covering this roadway, and you can still see it after all this melting right now. And Anthony, if you don't mind panning over here to show this field, the entire area here was just completely covered in hail. It looks like it might have snowed 2 or 3 inches, and we actually got a measure. We found a few of these hailstones that were close to 1 inch in diameter, which would make it a severe thunderstorm. And the hail also was piled up about 2 to 3 inches deep on the roadways and out here. So very close. The ingredients were very close to severe limits, but the Palmer Divide, which is in between Denver and Colorado Springs, kind of sticks up, and storms just kind of use it as a ramp, kind of a launch pad to get a little extra lift. And that's why the Palmer Divide is always famous for producing scenes like this out here in Peyton. Meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen, 9 News.
All right, Corey, we'll keep an eye on the weather throughout the state, but especially down south there. Thanks.
Also in the news today, a second teenager charged in the rock-throwing death of Alexa Bartell has pled guilty. Nicholas
Carol-Chik was supposed to go to trial this summer, but now is facing 35 to 72 years in prison. Our crime and justice reporter Kelly Ranke was in the courtroom this morning. And Kelly, we did learn a new detail about the night that Alexa Bartell died.
Yeah, until this morning, it wasn't really clear who threw the rock that killed Alexa Bartell. Today, Carol-Chik admitted in court he provided another teen, Joseph Koenig, a rock, and Koenig threw the rock at Bartell's car. She was only 20 years old when she died. Carol-Chik, who is on the left of your screen, pled guilty to 3 charges, including second-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder. This is for a series of rock-throwing attacks between February and April of last year. On the night Bartell died, prosecutors say the 3 teens threw rocks from a moving truck and targeted other drivers. 3 people were hurt and Bartell was killed. Joseph Koenig is the only one who's still scheduled to go to trial. The other 2 teens who have pled guilty have agreed to testify against him. Tom.
What about the timetable for that now going forward with this adjudicated to this point? That next trial is soon?
Scheduled right now to be in late July into August, and then those 2 teens will not be sentenced until after that trial.
All right, Kelly Ranke from the newsroom. Thanks. Well, the water is flowing again for residents in Castle Pines this afternoon, but if you live there, you'll have to boil it at least until tomorrow.
The district water manager says they were really surprised when water lines started leaking during some replacement work last night at Monarch Boulevard and Castle Pines Parkway. So people had no water last night and the water was discolored today. 9 News reporter Lauren Scafidi reports on the impact from Castle Pines. Hey, Lauren.
Hey, Kim and Tom. The district manager says that something similar happened a couple years ago here, but businesses are happy that it's not really common because this open sign took a lot more work than normal to put up today. Customers wanting to fill up on good lunch at Castle Pines ended up leaving with an empty stomach. But on the other side of these closed business doors,
But at the moment,
you'll find Bill Wagner
it's perfect for sanitation.
in crunch time.
Perfect.
The smell of savory food at Scotty's Sliders will draw your nose in when they open at 11, but the head chef's gut knew something was off when he got in at 9.
And my water pressure is kind of low, kind of cloudy a little bit, so I turned that off. Something didn't feel right.
Turns out, same story for most of Castle Pines.
Roughly, 11, 12,000 residents are impacted.
Nathan Travis, the district manager, says a project to replace a water line at Monarch Boulevard and Castle Pines Parkway didn't go as planned. That left people with no water pressure at all or discolored water starting Tuesday night.
So it's unfortunate that in the process to try and avoid worst case scenarios like this, that it kind of walked us right into one.
A reverse 911 went off after 10 a.m. Wednesday.
However, I didn't know that I couldn't use the water, so all my potatoes that I cut this morning, I have to throw in the trash.
Scotty's Sliders was able to open more than 2 hours later than normal.
Well, I just wish the city would notify us a little bit better so that we can make sure that we do the right thing.
Castle Pines is under a boil water advisory right now.
It's important to realize that even if you have a clear glass of water like this, to make sure that you still boil it.
Travis says those results will come back Thursday afternoon at the earliest. That means Scotty's can keep serving, but for Castle Pines Veterinary Hospital next door,
Makes me want to look now. Do we have surgeries tomorrow?
their 4-legged customers needing surgery won't be as lucky.
Well, this looks like all elective stuff, so we'll be able to just reschedule.
Your water might be discolored if you live in Castle Pines. The district manager says that doesn't mean that it's contaminated. It's just because they're flushing water through the pipes right now. As of right now, the water has not been sent yet to the lab for testing. Live in Castle Pines, Lauren Scafidi, 9 News.
All good things to pay attention to. We need our water. All right. Thank you, Lauren.